So we've been pushing out a lot of videos on all of the customer projects that have left the shop here, but I thought it was finally time to take a look at what everyone in the shop drives here as employees. So we're gonna start off with Gavin's first-gen Tundra. If you've interacted with us at the shop at all on a kind of front of house sales side, you've probably been talking with Gavin. He's been building out a lot of our estimates here. He's also been working here for what, 3 years now?
3 years now,
over
3.
Been a tech and is now up front of house helping with the sales and all of that stuff. He's got a really rad first-gen Tundra that we're gonna go through, starting off with the suspension, wheels, and tires. I'll let Gavin kind of explain what's going on because it's his truck. I know you just shoved 35s underneath it, which took a lot of work, but let's go see what's going on.
Yeah, so for the upper arms, it's using the Toyo Motorsports upper control arms, as well as the stock length lower arms. So they're all fabricated up at Toyo Motorsports. And then they're ADS adjustable coilovers and some Perry Parts bump stops and some gusseting as well with the upper control arm double shears and then a total chaos spindle gusset to keep it all together.
And those lowers are also helping with the tire clearance because they do that 1-inch push forwards, which helps us clear 35s.
Exactly.
It's kind of a recipe that we figured out to make that work a little bit easier. It's still a pain in the ass to get those in there, but
keeps that tire out of the cab. Just some major hammering, but no real tubbing needed or anything. Just clearing some metal out of the way, but it helps a lot. So.
Did you do a lower ball joint conversion on it too, or is it still the factory?
It's running OEM Toyota lower ball joints. Just I swap them out every like 20,000 miles. A little overkill, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. Yeah. With the issues these have.
Tires are Toyo MTs and a
35.
Right? 35,
12, 5, 17. Toyo mud trains with some Nomad. They're the Arvos, just in black, and then some Apex valve stems for air and down. But yeah, a pretty gnarly tire, but I've been stoked on them so far. Just getting out and using it on 35s finally. It's been great. Yeah, it's a pretty similar suspension setup to what I had in my Tundra and also what we build a lot of the Tundras here in the shop. Bryn's actually making a ton of noise inside doing a full ADS kit on a first-gen Tundra right now. And it works really good. It's a plush suspension system that gives you really good on and off-road ride quality. Yeah. And the adjustment's sick. It actually like does stuff. It helps a lot.
Which is really cool.
It does.
And then you're doing hydro bumps soon in the front. I think I just paid that invoice for your parts.
Yeah, hydro bumps are in transit right now. So be bumping out the front to really dial it in. Throw some limit straps in there too while we're at it and really get it kind of fully dialed in for 35s. It's just about there clearancing wise, but just want to have it perfected with the bump zone and everything like that.
Cool, let's go take a look at the rear end. So the back end, I'm pretty sure it's just everything Archive Garage with ADS shocks, but you can explain more?
Yeah, so I worked with Eric at Archive Garage to kind of put together this entire rear suspension package. And I believe he calls it just an ultimate off-road package. So that includes the leaf springs, the fabricated hangers, he calls them the hammer hangers, and this big shock relocation. It's an added cross member over the frame, so you pull the bed, drop that in there, and you can throw a big 12-inch shock in there. So we got a 2.5 by 12 shock in there with an adjuster again to get the rear end handling nicely. And I've been stoked on it. It handles amazing. Eric definitely knows what he's doing for these the Tundras and Toyotas and stuff, so it's been super cool.
And then mediums on the Leafs or heavies?
Yes, the medium duty Leafs. I'm definitely pushing it.
Yeah, you're
weight-wise
right
now.
The edge with the
I might. There's a little add a leaf that I might throw in there just to kind of make this pack a little bit thicker.
Yeah, and the ride height looks good on it.
Just about there. Yeah, the mediums have been doing me well so far. Yeah.
And then you re-geared it for the 35s, right? That was just recently?
Yeah, almost a month ago now. I did 488 Revolution gears with an Eaton rear E-locker. Been loving it. I haven't driven it at all with 35s without gears. I did it all at one time, and it feels great. The gears are definitely worth it.
Yeah, you were saying that it made it feel better than it did on the 33s even after you went up in tire size.
Exactly, yeah.
That's the same gear ratio I had on my truck, and it was also 35.
It works great. It's awesome. Cruises on the highway and really well off-road.
The Archive stuff, this is kind of a good example of the Basil recipe of what we do in a lot of the customer trucks here, specifically the Toyota trucks, the second, third gen Tacomas and the first gen Tundras, is just throw all the Archive stuff at it. It just flat out works. And then ADS has been a really, really good shock option for a lot of our builds too.
Definitely.
But let's go up front and take a look at the armor up front. So there's a pretty well put together armor package on it of a front bumper, sliders, and rear. Obviously we'll start up here with the front. This is kind of a easy way to have that ARB bumper aesthetic that I had on my truck, but it actually bolts on. That bumper that was on my Tundra was like a whole custom fab project, and it looks sick, but this is becoming really popular with the first-gen Tundra builds as a kind of flat hoop design with the bigger uprights in the center, kind of an Aussie style look.
Exactly.
But it's actually made for this truck versus Tacoma. This is brute force fab?
Yes, yeah, yes. Brute force fab. There's a bunch of different bull bar options. I opted for the big one, like you said, for the Aussie look that I was going for. And then yeah, within that bumper, there's some light pockets, just some Baja Designs, the Squadron SAE light, so that's that road legal fog light. And then a Squadron Pro a little bit towards the middle. And up top, just a bunch of the big, or 4 of them, the Baja Designs XL80s. The guys over there hooked it up, and they're the best lights in the game. Yeah. They really, really work.
It's pretty much all we install is Baja Designs lights.
Yeah, that's all we do. Yeah, it's the only way. They're right down the street. They're our friends. And then inside, tucked away, is a Warn VR Evo 10S winch with a Factor 55 Ultra hook. So, yeah.
And then for switching all of the lights on the truck side, you did Switch Pros as well? Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Switch Pros, 8-circuit panel, just nice and simple. We made a little mount 3D printed up into the little sunglass holder area, so it's nice and clean.
Yeah, sick. Yeah. Cool. And then on to sliders. These are white knuckle off-road. Again, something that we have on a lot of the shop builds here. They're a great set of sliders.
Yeah, they just bolt right on, as simple as it gets, and they're stupid strong. Haven't gotten to scratch mine up yet, but I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, they're just nice and simple, no craziness.
And they're really one of the only ones available for the first-gen Tundras as a bolt-on slider. I don't think there's many out there, so they really are. They're great, but they're also the only option. So it's kind of you get what you get, but it's a good thing that you get in the end.
A little bit of a no-brainer.
Yeah. And then for a rear bumper, you kept it simple. There's no big swing outs or anything like that.
Yep.
It's also brute force?
Yep, brute force, high clearance rear bumper. I'm not a big swing out guy. I like it just nice and clean off the back, nothing hanging out. It's got some Baja Designs, Squadron Pros kind of tucked down away in there for some reverse lighting, and not much else. I just like how sleek it is, and it gets that departure angle really, really high up, and been loving it so far.
And the tube work's kind of nice to protect the taillights and these bed sides as well.
Got the little tree savers on it. It's a good look. Matches the front really well.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and open up the GFC and look at the camp situation in the back of this thing, because that's kind of where this truck gets cool. You've built out the back end pretty well.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I can pop it open.
So the first big thing that you see on here, this is a GFC V2 Pro. It's not the new Max, it's the bigger version, it's just the Pro, but to be honest, I think it fits this truck a little bit better. It's a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter weight, simpler. It's been on here for what, like a couple years now almost?
Almost a year and a half.
Year and a half?
Yeah,
okay,
so I've been loving it. It really holds up. I tend to beat the crap out of the truck and it stays put. I mean, I've yet to have a single problem with it, so been stoked.
Yeah, they're just simple and they work is the kind of best way to explain them. They're not like a crazy complicated camper that has a lot of utilities to it, like a shower and fans and lights and all that kind of stuff. It's more just a basic place to sleep with really good storage down below it.
Yes.
This bed has been built out pretty rad. So we've got a full, I don't know, you can explain it. There's everything in here.
It's a little bit of a hodgepodge. I just kind of put things in as I went. Started off when I first got the bumper and just had a tire and some tools in here, but quickly figured out that I only wanted to camp for about 2 nights with that kind of setup. So ended up building one of these power boxes that we're starting to do for customers a lot in the shop now. We call it a battery in a box, and it has an Xbeyond 360 132 amp hour lithium battery in it, a REDARC Alpha 50R charger, and then a bunch of really sweet high output USBs and plugs on the top to run fridges and Starlink and all sorts of stuff like that.
And you've got a Starlink Mini up on the roof that's powered off of that.
Yes.
The fridge, the GFC lights, like the whole camp situation is powered off of this box.
Yeah.
And then all the lighting and the bumpers and the truck side is on the Switch Pros
all separate.
on the truck side. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a pretty good little solution for the power. It's like really popular on the more like the Project M or the GFCs, the kind of simpler setups where you could technically take it in and out if you wanted to.
Yep.
And then you've got Iceco fridge, freezer.
Yep, on a little slide there.
Yeah, and then the rest of it's all pack out stuff?
Yeah,
pretty much.
All pack outs. Nice thing is I just have the plates bolted to the bed, and so if I have some stuff I need to load in here day to day or whatever I'm up to, I just pull one latch and take my whole build out. So this whole area, this all stays in. I can load up with gear, whatever I need to do. But the pack outs have been sweet. Just load them up with camp kitchen gear, everything like that. And then a couple little Dometic water tanks and their tap. So it's got 6 gallons of water back here, which does me pretty well. And
it's a nice like
big howl.
semi-permanent
Yeah,
setup. 'Cause
exactly.
It's like you can leave it in here full time or take it in and out, obviously, if
Yeah.
you wanted to.
Exactly.
And then the turf's always sick as well. It looks really cool with the turf laid down below all of it.
Yeah.
Makes it feel a little more homey.
A little
almost.
less truck beddy.
Yeah.
See a little bit less of the dust.
Yeah. And then the side bags as well on here
Yes.
for more gear, the fill strand bags.
Yeah, got the fill strands just on this side, front and rear. Those things are awesome. Keep my koozie collection on the outside and lighters and random camp stuff on the inside. Those are an awesome little addition.
Folding leg R4
Yes.
Howl campfire in here.
R4.
The MaxTrax overhead are sick. I was stoked when we
Yes.
figured this out.
Yeah.
And bummed that I can't run it on my 80 anymore, but it's
Yeah.
a really good spot to stick the MaxTrax. It doesn't fit on all GFC campers. It's more specific to ones that have enough, I guess a non-moving panel is the best way of
Exactly,
explaining it, where you
exactly.
can mount the MaxTrax into here, but it
Yeah.
works really good.
Yeah, that
Keeps them out
panel's
of the way.
rigid, so it
I guess
just
if they're
stays.
covered in mud, it's not amazing, but like
Yeah.
you just clean them off before you put it into your camper.
The goal is to never use them. So.
Yeah, and then spare tire inside, but it's
Yep.
nice, neat, tidy package. The whole floor on this thing still pushes out.
Yeah, got
so
the
you can
full
climb
pass-through.
up and into the tent from the bed if you wanted to, so it's still a pass-through. I think you probably, you have a ladder with, yeah.
Yep,
there's a
I got the
right
ladder
here.
right there,
Yeah.
just on the L track.
Yeah.
I'm a ladder guy. Some people swear by the pass-through. I've
Yeah.
obviously got a little going on too to climb around.
Yeah.
But it is nice to have in the rain if you want to sit in here. You
Yeah.
can move these panels out of the way, sit on the pack out, hang out inside.
It's kind of how I treat my 80. Is like
Yeah,
99% of
exactly.
the time I'm going to use the ladder and treat it kind of like a rooftop tent. But when the weather is just terrible, if you wanted to have a space inside of to be able to, I don't know, change your pants, cook a little meal or something like that, you could push all the panels out of the way and then just have a room to hang out inside of. But the topper with a fancy integrated rooftop tent maybe is a way of
Exactly.
thinking of
Yeah.
it, but it works really damn good.
Yep, it does. It does.
Lighting up here I noticed on the
Yep.
GFC, and then a Wolfbox.
Yeah.
Chase lights and Wolfbox.
Exactly, yeah, just some S1s up here for chase light stuff so people can see you, and then just I have the Wolfbox digital rear view mirror. We love those things.
Yeah.
I can't see out the back of my window because I have the big old tire right there. So that actually allows me to see, and it records too.
Yeah.
So dash cam style, just in case anything happens.
Yeah, this thing's best way of explaining it is you're a pre-lander.
Yeah,
Is the
that's
best
the goal.
term in a way,
Yeah.
is like go fast, but then still camp really comfortably.
Yeah.
It mirrors what my Tundra was built for. My Tundra was maybe a little bit more on the camp comfortably side,
Yeah.
and less go fast, where this has like a big, really nice suspension underneath it to be able to drive dirt roads at a fast pace and have fun while you're out there, and then still camp pretty damn comfortably when you get to the end of it.
Yep.
So that's where the chase lights come into play, and some
Exactly.
of that stuff of like you're playing in the dust, driving with buddies down
Doing
trails.
some desert stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
it's sick. It's a nice, like, lightweight spec. I'd be curious. We should put this in the scales. I'm curious what it
Yeah,
weighs in
I'm curious
at
myself.
when
Yeah.
it's loaded. I would guess in the high sixes.
That's my
Low
my
sevens,
thought,
high
too. Yeah, I'm
sixes.
thinking high, like 69, 71,
Yeah.
something around there.
Yeah, but it's not too bad. Like the trucks handle it very well. My
Oh, yeah.
truck was like 8,500 pounds. My first gen Tundra. It was kind of
Gnarly.
stupid.
Yeah.
But it had a lot of stuff done to it to handle that weight.
Exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, it's a cool build. It's fun to see you evolve with it and be able to slowly build it over time, because you've had the truck
Yeah.
for
just
2 years?
2 years as of
Yeah.
a couple days ago.
Yeah.
So it's been a process. As of late, there's been a much bigger push to kind of dial it in. But it's been super fun. I'm using it a ton, and it really does it all. It camps well. I'm starting to venture into the rocks a little bit, but it does really well in the desert too. So
Yeah.
it's sweet.
So this was the first in a series of what everyone drives here at the shop. We're gonna start producing more videos of just what our trucks are around the shop, some of mine. Gavin's got a couple rigs. Jason's got a kind of a beat old 7.3. Zach has a Prius and a little second gen Tacoma. Bryn's got a Miata. There's like another first gen Tundra. There's lots of cool stuff around. So we'll keep chipping away and showing you guys what everyone drives here at the shop.